Well, with us this morning is Dr. William Parker with an update. William Parker was in the Navy. He was Chief of Staff of the U.S. Naval Surface Forces, and he right now he's CFO of the Parker Maritime Institute Technologies, a lot of technology, and he was president of the East-West Institute that really wants peace in the world. Well, Mr. Dr. Parker, tell us, you did your homework. What's the update on the Middle East, and what's the update on Israel?
John, great to be back on your show. I'll give you a snapshot here in just a couple minutes. Iran is using 40-plus proxies to include Hezbollah and Hamas and the Houthis to weaken the Israelis before Iran potentially invades Israel itself, and that's what I think they're leading up to. Meanwhile, China and Russia continue to do their own weakening of the United States, working on Ukraine and Afghanistan. The Russians and the Ukrainians are using American elections to pit political foes internally. So this is a very interesting time indeed. But what's interesting within the Middle East is that 20 years ago, many of us said that if you look back at or you look forward, there were a couple of things that were going to happen. We were going to have declining economies. We were going to have militaries weaker in the Middle East. That the new leaders would much less likely want to cooperate with the United States, and that's exactly what we're seeing happening right now. So what you have is over 10 fronts or 10 conflicts going on right now in the Middle East. And I can go into those if you'd like to.
Tell me, whatever you can tell me, the big item that we talked about the other day is 85% of the Israelis have moved out of the area where Lebanon is, or close to. And 45,000 troops of Israeli troops have been moved into that area, and 15% of the Israelis refuse to move. And Hezbollah could be doing attacking. So have you got any readings on that?
I do have readings on that, and you're right. It's 15%, and that number may actually be growing now because there are a lot of Israelis that say we're not giving up our borders. Sound familiar? And so they're pushing back on this, and I think those numbers you're going to see continue to rise instead of decrease. And meanwhile, Israel is fighting on four fronts right now. They've got Hamas on the southern borders. They've got Hezbollah, who's launched over 700 attacks now on the northern borders with Lebanon, as you just brought up. Israel still has no peace with their 16 Arab governments that are their neighbors, which is a very big deal. And then in addition to that, you have this fourth front of a shadow war with Iran that's playing out in Syria. So there's a lot going on just with Israel alone, not to mention the Houthis and their three fights that are going on.
The key thing is, I want to know if they're going to try to evacuate the 15% that is still there, or the other option is if they're going to bomb to knock out all the tunnels. I understand the Hezbollah has the same kind of tunnels as Hamas, and they're going to come in through those tunnels to attack the 15%.
Yeah, they do have the same.
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
So what do you think is more likely? Evacuate the 15%, and knock out those tunnels, or what?
I think that the 15% will back away from those tunnels a bit, but will still be around. I think that you'll more likely see a flooding of those tunnels and/or high power put in after the flooding of the tunnels, as opposed to just pure bombing because of the depth and complexity of them. So that's more likely. But I do think that's going to happen. And, I think that the leadership in Israel faces the same problem that Zelensky faces in Ukraine right now, which is you have to make sure that you remain popular and you're supported in your efforts. And Zelensky isn't sure that he wants to fire the chief of his military And similarly, I think that Israel is not sure that they want to have a political fight against this 15%. So it's a very fine line that they're both marching along.
Well, thank you so much. And the other big item is we don't understand. They got 150,000 drones. Why doesn't Israel go in with their jets and knock out all those drones right now before they fire them?
Yeah, those drones are basically acting the same way that the VX rockets operated during World War II. So you're getting unmanned missiles basically coming in now and attacking, but now they're smart missiles because they're drones that are controlled. So why they're not hitting those at higher levels, I'm not sure, but that absolutely needs to happen.
Well, Dr. Parker, thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for informing all Americans, and God bless you and God bless America. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, John.